we're on. Hey, that's pretty close.
The first time you were spot on.
Yeah, me and Sam are never spot on that. We got on the last one though. But welcome back to another episode here on the Crowd Chair Podcast. And Srebensky is back if you have not seen the Eastern Conference episode. So that will be out probably first. I haven't started uploading that one yet. I just got the other two out now. So it'll be out eventually along with this one that we'll be doing on the West. But yeah, Srebensky is back today for first time in a while. I'm sure we'll have some more with Srebensky on board, and maybe even Sam. I'm sure
as it comes closer to the to be on board because the now that I have a wonderful, lovely girlfriend, I'm not complaining. I love her, but at the same time, I don't have much free time anymore. I think I'm home for like an hour and then I fall asleep, and then I wake up the next morning early and start working again. I'm not gonna complain. Good money. But anyway, we're doing Offseason rankings, and we're doing the Western Conference now, and we're starting with probably one of the bigger moves. The Dallas Mavericks had a terrible offseason. They re-signed Tim Hardaway Jr. Obviously, they re-signed Kobe and then got Reggie Bullock. They which team needs to make because I know but you can't just be sitting comfortable with a player like Luka. Chris playoff go. I and Kristaps Porzingis, right? Because shooting guard is basically what he is. He's pretty. He just
Yeah. As for the Mavericks, they're a good team, and they re-signed Tim Hardaway Jr. Honestly, their offseason has not been a whole lot. There hasn't been a whole lot of action in their offseason. As for who the Mavericks drafted, I don't know if they actually drafted anybody. I'm not sure on that one. I don't see a draft pick on here, but I mean, I guess I would grade the Mavericks as a C plus. You have a new head coach. You have a new everything. It'll be a different look for the Mavericks for sure. So.
oh, back Carlisle for Jason.
Kid, the kid.
Jason asked Bill Dreams. Oh man. Okay. I think um obviously the big Jeff Green is like the quintessential role. Uh, to do too much, they just need to get Jamal Murray healthy, and I think this is a top 3 team in the Western Conference, especially now with Jeff Green. So, yeah, because Jeff Green.
Yeah, Nets are not Nets. Nuggets are having are a very good team. They did draft Nashawn Highland in the NBA draft. Uh, all right player, I suppose. Denver's got a very solid overall team, and they're going to be very good again. Barring Jamal Murray is healthy, he will have another fine season. Obviously, he's an incredible player. Nikola Jokic coming off an MVP season. So, with a healthy Denver team and with the solid roster that they have, they're going to be dangerous again. And speaking of sleeping, it is currently 12:30 at 12:30 midnight time in Michigan. So the faster this gets done, the better.
He's probably he finds
No.
Jonathan Kuminga is amazing, and then Moses. They had a really good like Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga are great players. Obviously signed Steph Curry $200 million a year contract, which friggin' he's the first player ever to have multiple $200 million contracts in his career, which is insane. Otto Porter's a decent signing. And then they re-signed, not re-signed, but they got back Andre Iguodala. So give him a B. No, I'm gonna give him a B plus. No. They got John. I'm gonna give him an A minus, A minus, mainly because of their draft pick. But they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the Warriors off season. I'm really tempted to give them an A plus. I don't think they could have done much better this off season with Jonathan Kuminga falling directly into their lap at number 7, like you said, and then Moses Moody going with them at 14. Many people said, "Hey, you should trade those two picks, get yourself a star player." Instead, they use them both on two studded stars in the NBA draft, getting Moses Moody, who's a very solid player out of Arkansas, and then Jonathan Kuminga, who's a very, very good player. I love both of those draft picks for the Warriors. Moses Moody as a scorer fits in perfectly with the Warriors. And then Jonathan Kuminga, more of a Jonathan Isaac type. I think that works out nicely for the Warriors as well. Then you throw in a healthy Clay Thompson, Otto Porter Jr., who they just signed, like you said. They also now have back Andre Iguodala. I think this team could very possibly compete for the national title, if not maybe beat the Lakers. Not probably not, but they might. They have a shot. They definitely have a shot at the title. I would say A plus A for the Warriors.
You got college on your mind. National championship.
Oh, win the NBA Finals. Yeah.
Okay, now this is my A plus for this conference. The Houston Rockets. They got Jalen Green. Jalen Green looked phenomenal in better than Cade Cunningham. I personally still much rather have Cade Cunningham, which we do. But
Yeah.
Jalen Green still looks phenomenal. He's gonna be a stud. He's gonna average like at least one. He's gonna have one season in his career where he's averaging 30 points, but he's gonna be like a consistent like 20 point per game scorer. They also got Josh Christopher, pretty good summer league offering. Said he looked good. Obviously, he got on English, but he looked good. His name's Garuda looked good. And Daniel Tice, okay, you got Jalen Green, A plus. That's all I need to know. Kind of the same thing with the Pistons. Cade Cunningham getting A plus. Jalen Green getting A plus.
Yeah, the Rockets, they drafted Jalen Green like they should have. They did what they were supposed to. They also, I mean, Josh Christopher, I saw when they drafted him in the first round, I'm like, wow, it's a little high. And then he went off in the NBA Summer League. I'm like, okay, I guess he's good again. Where was this? Arizona State. But they also got the center from, I believe it was, what, Turkey? A Turkey
Yeah,
center?
Alfred.
So, yeah, from Turkey. Decent player. I didn't really see him a whole lot, but I know that Josh Christopher. I was waiting for him to show up at Michigan, and then we'd have Isaiah Todd, Josh Christopher, Hunter Dickinson as a freshman trio. Just imagine if that had actually happened.
We
How?
wouldn't have lost for sure.
No, no,
Josh
no.
Christopher, he would have hit one of the 50 shots that Franz Wagner missed in that game.
I'm sure Franz Wagner might have been a backup.
Right?
But Rockets, I'd say an A for them. They got Jalen Green. Well done. Josh Christopher's turning out to be pretty good. Well done, I suppose. Overall, you're in a rebuilding mode. Getting guys who can compete like that and play well is something you need. Well done by the Rockets.
Now this um, before the recent trade, but like Clippers. I mean, Keon Johnson, good player out of Tennessee, cheap contract, could do better. Islanders re-signing for two. Great re-signings. Even got Jason Preston in the draft. Then they had the trade. They traded away Patrick Beverley and Rajon Rondo for Eric Bledsoe. Now, don't get me wrong, Eric Bledsoe's good, but
And
I'm not giving
Oturu.
up. I don't care. I'm not giving up Rajon Rondo and Patrick Beverley for Eric Bledsoe. Even just Patrick Beverley straight up for Eric Bledsoe, I still think I would keep Pat Bev. Just because Pat Bev is one of those ones that the fans love. I despise Buffalo Wild Wings laughing when he got ejected in Game 6 because he was a little baby and shoved Chris Paul. Trust me, I don't like Patrick Beverley as much as the next guy. But he's on your team, you keep it, especially trading it for Eric Bledsoe. Eh. So I don't know. I'll probably give him a C plus. I would have given him a solid B, maybe B plus, but it's so bad that I can't give it to him.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious by the Bledsoe deal myself. Um, Especially like I wouldn't. Eric Bledsoe is a good player. I, Eric Bledsoe by himself, fine player. But to trade away Patrick Beverley, Rajon Rondo, I mean, they also traded away Daniel Oturu, but Daniel Oturu, Rajon Rondo, sorry, and Patrick Beverley, just with Eric Bledsoe. I mean, Bledsoe's a fine player, but for those three guys, it's not worth it. But speaking of Pac Bev, he got traded again today to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Talk about that once we get to that Grizzlies.
But I mean, the Clippers, outside of the whole Eric Bledsoe blunder, have done solid this offseason. I like the Winslow signing, so I would have given them probably an A if they hadn't made that Bledsoe deal. But since they made the Bledsoe deal, I'll give them a B plus.
All right. Los Angeles Lakers. We've got draft consideration. We've seen Russell Westbrook in a trade. They signed Carmelo Anthony. They signed Ken Bazemore. They re-signed Taylor Horton Tucker. They signed Malik Monk. They signed Kendrick Nunn. They signed Trevor Rooker. They signed Wayne Ellington. And they signed Dwight Howard back again. Holy crap. Okay, on paper, this is definitely an A plus. Westbrook is good. The fit is a little questionable, but I also feel like they then kind of went and fixed up good shooters like Carmelo Anthony. I don't really think Trevor Reeves is really that much help. Malik Monk is a really good shooter. Keeping Taylor Morton Tucker is nice. Keeps you from having to average 35 on your team. Kendrick really good, cheap. So I'll take Kendrick Nunn on cheap. Wayne Ellington's a good veteran, and then Dwight Howard's a good five. Ken Bazemore is good too. Overall, I mean, they the roster, but literally they were at a point where they had like I think 4 people on the roster, and Brian Diggs is now the longest tenured Laker, which is it's also Zubac. Yeah, that's weird. These teams have just literally certainly changed everything. So on paper, I'll go A plus, but I'll probably give them an A. But I'm interested to see how this team is going to turn out. I still don't think this team is better than the Nets. I think a Lakers Nets finals is basically inevitable, but I think the Nets are better.
Yeah, on paper, like you said, obviously this is an A plus on paper. How it will work, that grade remains to be seen. Honestly, I don't see how this Laker team works out because you look at the new trio now of Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. While all these players are phenomenally talented, all of them are very good. First of all, LeBron and Westbrook both desperately need the ball. They both are. Uh, they both can handle the ball. They both need the ball. They both are known for. Oh, obviously Westbrook is known for triple doubles, but they both will need to score. Both of them will need to handle the ball. So who's taking it down the court? Who's going to be the one getting the ball? Who's going to be handling the ball most of the time? You'd think that'd be Westbrook, but I don't know. I just don't see how that will work out too well. Also, Anthony Davis, LeBron, Westbrook, none of them really have a specialty at shooting the three ball. Now, they are okay at shooting it, but their specialty is not three. They're not phenomenal, great three-point shooters. Anthony Davis isn't the greatest three-point shooter. He's probably the best out of the group. LeBron's not really a three-point shooter. I mean, he can hit it, but it's not exactly something he does every single time. And Westbrook certainly can't hit the three. So, so
which is why I think they did a good job in the offseason of actually filling out the roster with at least decent amount of guys that can at least hit through. So I got Johnny Brown on an actual contract, so that will always help.
Yeah, I mean that the shooting guard position I think is really where they need that 3-point shooter. And they signed Malik Monk and Wayne Ellington. Also, the Lakers team is so stinking old. Everyone's like 33, 35, 36. They signed Carmelo Anthony to the Lakers. It's like, why is everybody so dang old? So it's a stinking retirement home over here.
Yeah, see, as much as like the Lakers feel weird to fit, it's also kind of it's LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I'm still scared of that. I never match up with that team in the playoffs. The one thing about it is it's like I feel like it's kind of like the same thing with like one of the big everybody's like, oh my gosh, how does James Harden and Kyrie work together? And Kyrie or James Harden kind of was like, all right, I'm gonna back off. I think LeBron James will give Russell Westbrook more of the main ball handling duties. I mean, he's older; it'll save him a little bit of energy. You won't have to be worrying about dribbling the ball up and down the court. You can just relax and kind of walk down the court. At least in the regular season, Russell Westbrook will handle most of it. Come playoffs is when it'll be in. On paper, I mean, it's kind of like a thing with the Nets. It's like yeah, the fit might be questionable, but again, at the same time, it's Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. I'm still scared of the team.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see for sure. It's a unique look. It's a weird look, but I mean, like you said, it is LeBron. I'm sure he will figure something out.
Now we go to Memphis Grizzlies. I thought the Valanciunas trade was a pretty decent win on both sides. We got Eric Bledsoe, which then traded away.
And then trade away Pat Bev.
Good. And then trade away Pat Bev. But they got Rajon Rondo out of that. So, I mean, I'd probably take Rondo and Eric Bledsoe over the equal. But has that veteranness. And then you got, obviously, they draft to get their guy, Zaire Williams, who yet to be seen, but college. Obviously, you got Rajon Rondo now, so nothing really much to say. B minus. Kind of didn't do too much besides outside of that one trade.
Well, I mean, the Grizzlies, I like where they're at right now. You obviously have John Morant on this team, who is a fantastic player. You got a trade for Pat Beverley, where you got Rajon Rondo. You turn Pat Bev into who cares about the one of the 5 billion Hernan Gomez's that they got, but they ended up getting Jarrett Culver in that deal, which I really like. Jarrett Culver's a really good player out of Texas Tech. Hasn't exactly turned out in the NBA, but I think a little change of scenery could definitely help out the young Culver. I like that deal a lot. And they also trade away Grayson Allen to the Bucks, get Sam Merrill. Really, the Grizzlies made quite a bit of moves. I like their team. I think they had a decent offseason. Definitely a bright future for a young Memphis team that made the play-in tournament last year and knocked out the Warriors to get into the playoffs and then lost to the Jazz. But there's a bright future ahead for Memphis. I'll give them a B plus.
Now, to an adverse team, a team that has literally basically done nothing until today. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Before today, all they had done is traded Ricky Rubio for Florian Prince's draft consideration. Now they made the trade for Pat. I think that's good. I mean, the Timberwolves were like the third worst defensive team last year. So having someone who's like a really gritty defender to kind of mentor the other guys is pretty good. You didn't give up too much. I mean, yeah, you gave up Culver, who's a nice young guy, for him to go. But honestly, I think it's better for specifically your two guards and the Edwards. So I give him a B. He didn't really do much, so there's not really much to say.
And you trade away a defensive stud in Ricky Rubio, and then instead you get a different defensive stud who can shoot the ball a lot better, and I think is better than Ricky Rubio. B plus. You upgrade your point guard. Well done.
The biggest loser in free agency this year, the new four to say right off the bat, F. We'll just give that F right off the bat. Hated their stuff. Anyway, okay, it started right. I mean, they got Jonas Valanciunas, but the Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe kind of. Yeah, Jonas Valanciunas is a pretty good player, so that was good. Um, for basically Tomas had. Yeah, that's it. I mean, Garrett Temple, yes, but I'm not really counting Garrett Temple right now. Made him let him off basically for free, and instead replaced him with Von Graham, who's a good player. I don't think he's going to fall the ball.
Who they gave away a first round pick to get?
And then that was it. That was it. That's literally all they've done. They really hurt him real nice, and that's it. They around Zion, who need I remind you here, Pelicans together, or you are going to lose. I mean, he's probably going to most players for the extension because that gets him a crap ton of money. But times are taking, Pelicans. Do you want another Anthony Davis situation on your hands? You better build a team around this guy before you lose him.
They're also, I believe, trying to re-sign Josh Hart. The Pelicans are, at least I've heard.
Yeah.
But
Josh Hart's just been sitting there on the market. He's a really good player. I mean, he's going to play tonight.
yeah, but for the Pelicans, honestly, their off season's been a little interesting. I'm giving them a D only because they did the smartest thing any team could do and get rid of Stan Van Gundy after 1 year.
That's they did get rid of Stan Van Gundy. That's about
they got rid of Stan Van Gundy. That automatically gets you at least one letter.
Right. They got rid of Kevin Walker, and they uh, I think Josh Giddey's going to be a good player, but they did take him over guys like Kaminga and Brent Wilson. But they did take him really high. I think higher than most people had him, but
Well, I know I had him at 12, so.
yeah, yet to be seen how good he is. He might be good, but Thunder might have seen something in him. So I'm not going to say anything just yet. And then I mean, Aaron Wiggins was a nice second round pick, but other than that, they didn't really do much, which they really weren't supposed to. They were supposed to draft their guys and stink next year. So as far as the long term future plans, I'll give them a B. Actually, no, I'll probably give them a C plus because I think Josh Giddey was a little bit of a reach. That being said, who knows? I give them a C plus. They drafted what they were told they drafted. And that was it. That's all they needed. They weren't supposed to go get a star or anything.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma City is obviously in a rebuild, and while seeing how they have like 20 first round picks in the next 7 years, you can do whatever the heck you want in the NBA draft. But they obviously, in a million more trades this year, got a million more first round picks. as they whittled one out of the Boston Celtics in the Kemba Walker deal, and then bought out Kemba's contract. Then they got two more first round picks out of that first rounder that they got from the Celtics, and they got two more first rounders from the Rockets, and then got another first rounder yet again from the Utah Jazz, where they took on Derek Favors' contract. So it just, where does it end? How many first round picks are they going to get? But Oklahoma City just obviously stockpiling every single year in first round picks. They're really doing an incredible job. They did a fine job this year. I think Josh Giddey was a bit of a reach in the draft, but you never know. Maybe it'll actually work out for them. They got Trey Mann. Overall, I think Josh Giddey was a little bit of a reach. This is the only reason why their grade's a little lower. I'm gonna give them a B. Just because of all the trades that they made, they got more first round picks. They also got Derek Favors, who I do like. He's a little bit of a high contract, but on a team like the Thunder, high contracts really don't really mean a whole lot.
Yep. Well, that's open. I love Javon Carter, but Landry really liked. So getting Landry Shamet for a guy who didn't even touch the floor in the playoffs. I think probably the only time he touched the floor in the playoffs was when we beat the Lakers by 30, 40 points in Game 5. Signing Chris Paul, obviously, it's a bit, probably going to be a bit of an overpay considering we're going to be paying like $30 million to a 40-year-old. But you did what you had to do. You couldn't just let Chris Paul walk, and he was going to get what he was worth. So the Suns kind of did what they had to do. Send out later. Daddy, okay. Dylan and I always said player of all time. We call him Frank Daddy. Every time he touches the floor, we're like, Frank Daddy's gonna win. Oh, I didn't know we signed Alfred Payton. Well, that's kind of nice. I mean, Alfred Payton's all right, but I'll take him as a backup point guard. That's nice. JaVale McGee just for backup five depth because we lost Dario Saric to an ACL tear for this next one. Overall, we give him a B plus. Might sound like a whole new little bit, but I mean the resign to God got some decent depth in Albert Payton, JaVale McGee, and Landry Shamet, and re-signed Frank Daddy. So a B plus.
I'm giving this team an A minus because they re-signed Chris Paul. It was to a lot of money, but it is Chris Paul.
Exactly.
This is he is an unbelievable player. He has not slowed down yet. He proved in the NBA Finals how good he actually was, how good he still is, and now the Suns will have him for even longer now. So I like just that signing alone. And like you said, they got some more depth pieces. They built around Chris Paul. They gave him more guys to work with, and you still got pretty much everybody else returning. So A minus. Well done.
Um, Zeller. They re-signed a lot of money. And all in the midst of leave, not wanting to leave, he hasn't said he wants out, but we all are kind of like, really. And the best you guys can do is Cody Zeller. Really? I need to see this team like trade. It's time to trade like CJ McCollum or something because he's like the only guy on this team that actually has work. Other than that, man, that's another F. It's another F. I mean, you got superstar Damian Lillard, and the best you do to convince him to stay is Cody Zeller, a guy who has perpetually looked like he's in his 50s. Is it just me?
No, it's not just you, but honestly, I think for Trailblazers, they gotta start thinking about their future with Damian Lillard, as obviously Terry Stotts has left the team. He left. They parted ways.
Alright.
He is now. Where is Terry Stotts now? Is he a Wizard?
I don't
I thought he went somewhere. I forget where.
I'll
Uh,
check here. Let me check.
I'm pretty sure he went somewhere. But obviously, the Trailblazers end up getting Chauncey Billups as a new head coach. I like that. I like seeing Mr. Big Shot as a head coach. But I think really this offseason had to be focused on making, obviously, Damian Lillard happy. You want to keep your all star with the team. And they really didn't do a whole lot of anything. So it was a little curious.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, with everyone pretty much falling apart and CJ McCollum not doing a whole lot for him, it was curious to see what they would end up doing to try and help Damian Lillard. Instead, they did nothing. So, yeah,
Yeah,
minus.
you, yeah, yeah. How are they gonna help Damian Lillard? All right, another in the second, not all their fault because they completely got a really good trade for Buddy Hield. Right, Lakers were just they still just Marvin Bagley needs to get out of there at this point. Between De'Aaron Fox and his dad, just it's not working out there. He just needs to get out of there. Rashawn Holmes, okay, but good. All right, and then there's draft. Tristan Thompson, good. David, now I'm a big Davian Mitchell guy. I love Davian Mitchell. I knew he's been. But you already have Buddy, Tyrese Halliburton, and De'Aaron Fox. Wait, so I'm probably gonna give a C just because it's a little confusing what's going on there. But that's all. Nothing good to say.
Wait, who are we talking about again? Oh, wait,
The
Kings, right?
Kings.
Kings.
The Kings.
I keep phasing out. I'm tired, but
We're almost done. We're almost done.
yeah. But the Sacramento Kings, they have a decent team. I do like Davion Mitchell. He's a good shooter. It sounds a lot like Donovan Mitchell.
And then Donovan Mitchell showed up and then
Foreshadowing on
finally
what
showed
he
up.
might be in the future. But it would have been hilarious if Davion Mitchell and Donovan Mitchell end up being on the same team. Just say one that you're trying to say the other. Hey, Donovan, or no, Davion. Wait, no. But Davion Mitchell, very good shooter. Loved him in Baylor. I think he'll work out nicely for Sacramento. I like their team. I believe they still have Hassan Whiteside, which I
No,
don't.
I think they lost a ton. But I know I'm pretty sure he went somewhere.
Oh well, Kings still have a very young, solid team.
He
Um,
went to the Jazz.
oh yeah, right. That is right. I remember that now. But the Kings have a very young team. They're obviously in rebuild mode. They'll continue to rebuild. Marvin Bagley, De'Aaron Fox. They're going to be a very good. They're going to be a good team eventually. Right now, still a rebuild. I'll give the Kings a B.
Have we go to the I'm finally happy because I think the Spurs are finally deciding it's time to go into rebuild mode when they just kept trying to retool and it's not working. Obviously, you got the trade, getting DeMar DeRozan away, some picks in return, which I'll take. Thaddeus Young is one of my favorite players, so that's pretty good. Chad Doug McDermott was a pretty good pickup for him. Sweet, but has the potential to be good if he's then Josh Primo in the draft. I'm gonna give this team a B plus specifically because I think they finally decided we're gonna go younger. So just because they decided to go.
The Spurs haven't really done a whole lot this year, but like you said, they are seemingly looking to basically just tear it apart, start over. So I'll go B.
And then our last team, Utah Jazz, signed Rudy Gay, which is nice. Signed Son Whiteside, which is nice. Re-signed Mike Conley, which is nice. Probably made one of the biggest fleeces in a trade. I feel like they fleeced the Warriors. They got Eric Pascal for a second round pick,
Yeah, that's
and
bad.
I'm like that. I'm like, dude, they finessed the Warriors hard on that one.
That's bad.
Hard on that one. So I think that I'm going to give the Jazz an A minus this because they got Eric Pascal for a second round pick.
Well, after an NBA leading regular season last year, they look to build on that after they kind of collapsed against the Clippers in the playoffs. So you go and get yourself a Son Whiteside. Rudy Gay is a nice addition. They also, of course, like you said, trade for Eric Pascal. I saw that. I'm like, wow, what were the Warriors thinking? Pascal for a second round pick. That's like nothing. But um, very good job by the Jazz. They definitely got their money's worth there. Warriors, not really, but um, good job by the Jazz. I'll give them an A minus as they look to build on what they had last year.
With all their views of
Yeah,
so that's that. He is going
yeah, I
to
need it.
it's for me. It's 1 a.m. for him. So that's another thing that makes working on this stuff is so much harder because I'm 3 hours behind. That being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace out.
And now with Sam an hour behind, he it makes it even harder yet. But yeah, as Sermensky said, that's it. See you guys next time.